Are boundaries important when dating, and at what stage should you start setting boundaries?
What sort of boundaries?
It just says boundaries.
Well, yeah, it is important because it depends what you want. You know, I think your boundaries are determined by what you want, what your long-term goals are. What you allow is often determined by what your long-term goals are. So yeah, and I think relationships, when you're getting to know each other, they test you and they test things that are really important to you, what you're willing to sacrifice, what you're not willing to sacrifice, what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not willing to tolerate. And I think you can't set those boundaries until you actually have a good relationship with yourself, because when you have a good relationship with yourself, you have a certain amount of self-esteem. There are things that, you know, will happen that you'll be like, actually, I'm not going to accept that. You have a conversation with your partner like, I do not appreciate this, I don't like this. And that's where, you know, the parameters of your relationship start to get set. But I think it's especially important for women, because I think if women let everything go on, men are just gonna do whatever you let them do.
And vice versa.
I don't know. I think in theory you could say that.
No, it's more than fair.
No, wait. So it's in theory you could say that, but I think then women require a lot more like care, a lot more. What?
I don't agree. In fact, no, I do agree. Not to interject.
You are interjecting.
Well, not to interject, but I'm interjecting. The thing is, I think in relationships, I think it's both parties. Men might do like dirt, as in like they'll go, if you let just run over you, so forth, and
but
you're
that's
always
what I'm
there.
saying.
But then women will do the same in a sense, not necessarily dirt, but they'll just push your boundaries and push and push and push, and then they'll just like want to control you and control your whole life,
true.
be in every facet of your life. You're not doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, you're doing that. So unless you like stand your ground and
of course, that's true. But I think a lot of the like difficulties sometimes that women go through is like the violation of boundaries and how their partners are being when they're not there. You can't control anyone, but I think you can carry yourself in a way that, you know, expresses and shows like, look, I'm not gonna tolerate this, and you know, and that's very, very important. I think women need love and care, but the respect they receive from their significant others is also super, super important, because that is reinforcing a lot of the values that they carry and a lot of things about themselves. So yeah, overall, I think it's really important. It's important to try and set it early, but it evolves. It evolves as stages of your relationship evolve, like everything. So it's just really important to actually continue to stay on that path and see what you learn along the way. Was that the question? I feel like I forgot the question.
You did. You know, you answered the question so about boundaries and on what stage should you start setting boundaries. So basically from even before you start dating.
Absolutely.
Before you start dating, know what you're comfortable with,
yeah.
what you're not comfortable with. I think from my perspective, be able to like say, I'm happy with this, I'm not happy with that. Be able to have conflict. Like it's important. Like you need to be able to say, okay, I don't agree with this, I agree with this, or so forth, and work through that and not like explode. I think that's important to also kind of not trying to control your partner, but just say, okay, like this is all cool, but this I'm like, nah, I'm not cool with that, or kind of respecting your space. I think one thing I had was we came into a relationship, I'd kind of done a lot of work in terms of self-esteem work, self-worth work. So when I came in, I was able to say, like, initially anyway, like when I came up to you and was like, oh, I'm interested, I want to do this and go forward, I was ready to hear you say no. Like it wasn't like, oh, if you say no, I'm gonna be destroyed and crushed. You know what I mean? I was ready. I was not. I'm being real. This is for some of the guys out here. Like I was ready.
Here we go.
No, I'm being honest. I was ready to hear you say no. Like I put forward my intention and so forth. I knew you weren't gonna say no. No, I'm joking. But I put forward my intention and I was like, this is it. And if you say no, then that's cool. But then I said, in fact, funny story. So when I put forward my intention and said,
my
yeah, it's what I
God.
want. I see a future. I see this vision. Da 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 da. Da. She said, oh, okay, cool. But I think we should like be friends first, kind of thing. Get to know each other and da 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 da. And I just said, I don't want any more friends. I've got enough friends. I don't want any more friends. That's cool. And then she was like, oh. In fact, how did you react to that?
It was shocking. I was like, wow, what a shock.
You're shocked. I said, brother, you have to know what you want, and if she's not on board with it, that's fine. But you just have to move on. Do you know what I mean? So I think,
Wow, so you're gonna move on?
if you had said no at that time, I would have been like, cool.
I would have moved on
I would have like just kind of lived my life, kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would have.
to the next thing.
I won't say to the next thing, but I would have moved past it and been like, okay, cool.
To the next thing.
Do you know what I'm saying? No, not to the next thing, because like I said, I wasn't even necessarily looking. Something that presented itself to me that was like, yo, this is a fit. If it's not that, then do you know what I mean? So in that situation, if you said no, yeah, I would have like just moved on, kind of lived my life and so
Would it have
forth.
been sad?
I don't know, because as I said, I was at a position in my life.
So how can you truly like someone if you present an intention and they are not on board with the intention?
Because
and then you go home and you're not sad, you're just gone and watch Netflix and been calm.
no, I think what it is like, okay, what I was presented with was, I have a desire, which is to build this future, have a family and so forth. And I'm probably extremely picky, you know what I'm saying, in terms of that position. Not just like we can just see and date, but that position, the wife, have like, it's almost like perfectly formed around you, basically, and who you are in it. So I'm presented with, yo, the opportunity to have this vision come to pass and build this thing. However, I have lived life and been in situations where the other person that I thought or potentially could be that was not aligned with the vision. Do you know what I'm going to say? And when the person was like, oh, I'm not aligned with the vision, I was like, oh yeah, but da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da. I'm not really able to take rejection or a no because of like self-worth / maybe self-esteem issues. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But I'd already worked through those to the place where I was like, okay, cool. I can go to someone and say, yo, this is, or go to you, this is what I want. And if you say no, I'm cool, because
it doesn't impact my
worth. Like, it's not like oh, you haven't picked me. It's like, yo, like, that's kind of the thing. And I think what also happens on the other side is that if you don't have that, and just get into relationships and you can just take too much from the other person.
Yeah, for sure.
You just take way too much from the other person. Like, they're just doing the most and pushing the most because you think, oh yeah, I've got this. You put her on a pedestal, or she's like this amazing woman, and it's like you just take way too much. So I think that's such a key, setting your boundaries.
Mutual
like
respect.
100%, man. Setting your boundaries within yourself, doing that work, so that when you come to the lady, you can, like, I wouldn't say live without her, but you can come with a proposition from who you are, where you're at. She joins, you're on board, and you can work together to like build a relationship, and the two become one process. So